Finding a profitable project in today's Dubai real estate market can be a serious challenge because the prices today have reached the highest number in the history of Dubai. Just take a look at the dynamic price index. We are today at the peak. Now, yes, Dubai is ranked number 8 in the global power city index and is considered one of the best real estate markets of the world. And yes, if you compare Dubai to markets on the same pedigree, we are still 65% cheaper than Singapore. We are still 70% cheaper than London, central London we're talking about. We are still 75% cheaper than Paris. We are still 80% cheaper than Sydney. We are still 85% cheaper than New York, specifically Manhattan. And we are still 92% cheaper than Hong Kong. But see, investment is not about hypes and feelings. Investment is about facts and data. And if we look at the facts, we cannot predict what's going to happen tomorrow. We couldn't predict COVID in 2018 before the pandemic hit. No one predicted the financial crisis in 2006. So, if the market keeps growing, yes, everyone will make money and it's going to be okay. But if the market starts correcting, I can confidently tell you that 80 to 85% of the projects today will not hold this value. Because 80 to 85% of the projects today are overhyped, they are overpriced, and they just don't make any sense. So, in today's video, I want to address what's gonna happen if the market corrects. If the market keeps growing, yes, everyone will make money and it's gonna be okay. But if the market corrects, what's gonna happen? Now, to understand that, let's take a look at history. Let's go to the previous market peak and study it together. Now, the previous market peak was 2014, 2015. And I think people who invested in this time, 2014, 2015, they can relate to what I'm saying. Because most of the projects at that time couldn't hold its value and investors in most projects didn't make any money. But then the interesting fact is, in 2014, Dubai Hills was launched. In 2015, Blue Waters was launched. Now, a villa bought in 2014 in Dubai Hills at 33 million is today transacting at 230 millions. Now, during all this time, while the whole market was crashing and projects were losing its value, Dubai Hills kept holding its value. Now, not only Dubai Hills, like several other projects, Arabian Ranches is the same. So for example, if we take a look at COVID, prices never went down in Arabian Ranches or in Dubai Hills. Same with the Springs. Like you see, I was taking a closer look at Springs. I wanted to enter the Springs and I had multiple investors who wanted to buy in the Springs. So we were waiting for the time when the market crashes in the pandemic. And guess what? During the whole pandemic, prices never moved. Despite Springs being an old project, like Springs is from 2003, but it's still the same. So the question is, how to find projects that will keep holding its value no matter what happens in the market? Because this is what you can control. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. That's the fact. But if we can find a project that keeps holding its value, this is when you're going to win in all situations. If the market grows or if it kept holding its value or if the market crashes. Hi, my name is Khalid Ali. And in today's video, I want to share with you my simple framework. Okay, I have a 3-factor framework that I use to study every market. Now, this framework, I use it to identify what projects will keep holding its value no matter what's happening in the market. Now, in this framework, if you find all 3 factors in one project, meaning that this is a winning project, you have a strike gold. No matter what happens, worst case scenario, your project won't lose its value. Now, if you find 2 out of the 3, you are still in a good position. Like you can invest and you know that you can make money. But below that, you cannot compromise in a market like today's market. So let's study this framework together, and not only in this video. Any video in this channel, I think that you can even read it in the slogan. any video in this channel, we are going to use this framework to study it together and to analyze any projects that we're gonna start. All right, guys? So let's go to the next part of the video and understand this framework and study it together. So let's get to the meat of this video. In this part, I'm going to answer the most important question in real estate, which is how to find the winning project and invest in this project when it's undervalued, when it's really cheap, because this is where you're gonna make most of the money. Let me give you an example. Emaar beachfront, which is a fantastic project. Now in 2018, Emaar was selling Beach Vesta 3-bedroom at 3.8 million. All right. Now in the same community, December 2024, Emaar launched the Bristol, which is just few buildings away from Beach Vesta. 3-bedroom, it was selling at 10.5 million. So who do you think had a better chance to make more appreciation and make more money? The guy who entered at 3.8 or the guy who entered at 10.5? So it's not only important to find a winning project. Like, it doesn't make any sense, for example, now to invest in a place like downtown or a place like the Palm, because price is already appreciated. So in this framework, the 3 key framework, which we're gonna understand together, is gonna teach you how to find a winning project and then invest when it's undervalued, when no one is talking about it, so that you can make most of the appreciation. So the first point in our framework is the scarcity factor. What is so unique about this project that it cannot be easily replicated? That is unique about this project. Because if you are investing in a project with a scarcity factor, of course, this project will always keep holding its value no matter what, because there is no supply. There is no much supply. So a scarcity factor could be something like Waterfront. Like in Dubai, 5 to 6% of the land is waterfront, which is a built-in scarcity factor. That is why most of the projects which are waterfront, they are making a lot of money. Another scarce factor could be golf courses. And when I talk about golf courses, I'm not talking about a golf course in the rooftop of a building. I'm talking about 18-hole golf championship golf course. Now, golf course, which is a championship golf course, it requires a lot of land. And we know that land is scarce. So imagine a developer buying a big plot and then leaving a big land where they're not going to make any money out of it to build a golf course. So you need a certain type, only the top developers can do that. Not only that, maintaining the project, maintaining the golf course, it's also extremely expensive. So based on that, if you find a golf course, if you find any villa or any townhouse or any apartment which is golf facing, this is a scarce factor. Another example could be the Palm. It's a unique structure. Like, who can replicate that? Dubai tried building another Palm, which is Palm Jabal Ali. They started the construction in 2003. Till now, it's not completed. That is why villas in the Palm, they appreciated more than 3,000%, like this example that you see now. Another scarce factor could be Burj Khalifa, right? Now, Burj Khalifa, like, how many cities could build that? If you have a view on a Burj Khalifa, that is also scarce. So what is unique about this project? If you could find the unique factor, then this is one of the most important 3 points. It will help you make a lot of money. But when you find the unique factor, make sure to utilize it to the most. Meaning, if you invest in a community which is a golf course, buy a villa which is golf facing. If you bought or invested in a community which is waterfront, make sure to invest on a unit which is sea facing. Let me give you an example. Golf Place, which is a cluster in Dubai Hills. Now in Golf Place, a villa which is 7,600 square feet, bought at 8.3 million from Emaar. Now that same villa was sold in July 2024 at 16.5 million, which is amazing. It doubled its value. But this villa was not golf facing. It was a back view villa, all right? Now, in the same community, same cluster, Golf Place, a villa which is golf facing, size around 8,500 square feet, and bought at 9.25 million. So if you look at the difference, the investor here saved around 950K or around 1 million to buy a villa which is not Gulf facing. Now that same villa was sold in August 2024. At the same time, what is the price? 27.5 million. So imagine the investor here, because he saved almost 1 million, he lost 10 million in around 3 years. So make sure when you find anything scarce, utilize that at the most, right? So this is the first one. The second part in our framework, the second factor, is infrastructure. Infrastructure is the holy grail of real estate, which means it is not about what is inside your apartment or what's inside your villa. Once you step outside of your villa, what is there? What are the facilities? What are the amenities? What is the infrastructure? Things like schools, malls, hospitals, anything, the facilities, the amenities which are outside, metro connection, roads, all of this is an infrastructure. Now, the key thing about the infrastructure, and this is what Dubai really understood early on, because infrastructure is way more important than architecture. So imagine, for example, if you bought a villa which is branded by Lamborghini, amazing villa, but that villa is in the desert. Like, no one cares about it. But just connect the metro, roads, make a school, a hospital, a mall, make an infrastructure, and then everyone will be betting on it. All right? Now, there are two important parts when it comes to the infrastructure. Invest before the infrastructure is connected. Because infrastructure by itself, it appreciates the value or the price of the unit 50 to 100%. So make sure to invest before the infrastructure is connected. Let me give you an example. Dubai Hills, Maple, right? Maple, a 3-bed townhouse in 2017 was selling between 1.6 to 1.7 million, right? Now that same Maple, okay, it was selling in 2020 during the time of COVID around 2.1 million, which what I said earlier, it kept holding its value. Now in 2022, Emaar opened Dubai Hills Mall, okay? King's College Hospital was operating in 2022. Dubai Hills Park opened. 2 gym school opened. The infrastructure got connected. So after that, Maple value jumped from 2.1, 2.2 up to 4 million. Just like that. So the key is to invest before the infrastructure is connected so that you can make most of the value. The second point when it comes to the infrastructure, invest where the government is investing. I believe this is the easiest thing that you can keep in mind. Because the government, of course, will build a bigger infrastructure and have the capacity to pay more money and build a big infrastructure compared to the developer. Like, for example, downtown. Downtown was a military camp. So the government announced the plan. Everyone invested there. They made a lot of money. And then after that, they announced Dubai Marina. By that time, the center of Dubai was Karama. So they announced Dubai Marina, which was very far to Karama, and anyone was thinking it's crazy to invest there. But the government announced its plan. People invested in Dubai Marina, and they made a lot of money. Then after that came Sheikh Zayed Road, which is, the road which is connecting these two iconic landmarks, which is downtown and Dubai Marina. All the developers invested there, people bought there, they made a lot of money. So, when it comes to infrastructure, find a project where there is an amazing infrastructure that could be connected, and don't be fooled by that. Like Dubai Hills, people were saying it's too far. It's in front of the biggest, which is Al-Quoz industrial area. It's in front of the biggest industrial area. Of course, when the infrastructure is not connected, it's gonna be far. But this is where you're gonna make a lot of money. The money that is coming from the infrastructure, nothing else can replicate or can help you more than that in your investment. So coming to the third factor, which is the last one and the most important one, which is the developer. Who is the developer building the project? Think about the developer as your partner. Will you invest with someone that you don't trust? Of course not. Now, in these three, the one that you cannot compromise is a developer. So you can invest in a project where there is a scarce factor and a good developer. Or you can invest in a project where there is a good developer and an infrastructure which is coming, and you invest before that. But if the developer factor is not there, do not invest, in my opinion. So how can you find a good developer? Number one, are they delivering their projects on time? So you need to look at history. See their previous project. Are they delivering on time, or they are having delays in handover? Number two, are they delivering the quality which was promised? So when they tell you that these amenities or these facilities are coming, or when they tell you like these are the sizes and this is the quality, is the quality which was promised was actually delivered, or the quality was bad and what's delivered is not what was promised? This is also very important. Number three, maintenance. It's crucial. Like, see, there are some buildings which are 2 years old, but when you see them, they look like they are 10 years old. And there are some buildings, like for example, if you go to downtown. Now in downtown, some of these buildings are 15 years old and they look new. So this is very important for you while renting. So what's their maintenance, right? Now another point, customer support. Now if you are renting, customer support is very important. Is their customer support bad or good? People who are renting there, people who bought there, what's their customer support like? Now, all of this, if you realize they are connected to history, do not listen to what they are saying, that we are the best and blah, 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 blah. Check the history, look at the previous project which were handed over, check if the price is really appreciated and if people made money. Check all these things. Make a thorough check about the history. That's why, for me, I don't recommend and I don't invest with new developers. They could be good, like don't get me wrong, but how can I know? We said the most important thing in real estate is that if you don't make money, you don't lose money. You need to save and keep holding your value. That is why history is very important. And that is why I only recommend and invest with developers who have a good track history of projects that really appreciate and they are getting all these points that we talked about. So this is the framework. This is how to distinguish signal from noise. If you understand these 3 points, you will catch very good projects where you can invest early on before anyone talks about it. Good scarcity factor, a good infrastructure coming, and a developer with a good tracking history. If you get these 3, you have a strike gold. If you cannot get the 3, 2 out of the 3, but the developer factor need to be there so that you can find a good project, right? Now, after we explain the framework, let's apply it practically. I believe now you can analyze any project, but just to make sure that the point is delivered home, we're gonna take 3 projects and we're gonna analyze them together from this framework so that you can understand it and you can get a practical knowledge on how to analyze the projects. And the video will be in this channel in a few years. When you check back, you will see the appreciation, how much this money these projects make. All right, so let's get to the last and the most exciting part of the video. Okay, now to apply our framework and understand it, we're gonna study this area, which is Maritime City, Mina, Rashid, and Dubai Island. First of all, we'll try to understand what the government is trying to achieve. And then, once we understand it from the macro level, we're gonna dig in to the micro level, pick 3 projects, and apply our framework, okay? So if we start out at the macro level, what is the macro scarce factor about this area? Number 1, it is waterfront, which, as we know, 5 to 6% of Dubai land is waterfront. So that's a building scarcity. Number 2, you got the marine cruise liners. Now, Mina Rashid is getting around 5 million visitors annually. So you're talking about an average of 14,000 visitors coming to Dubai through the cruise liners in Mina Rashid every single day. So that's a short-term rental gold mine. And the area is still under construction, which is a good time to enter. Now, number 3, this is the urban heart of Dubai. Now, what does that mean? 65% of Dubai residences are living in this area. And 70% of Dubai GDP is also generated from this area. So this is where the money is. So this is from a scarce factor. If we talk about the prices in this area. You got, next to Maritime City, you got Emaar. Now, Miras launched Solaya by Emaar. Now, to get a sea-facing unit, you're gonna be paying anywhere between 7,000 to 7,500 dirhams per square foot. After that, you got Jumeira Bay, Bulgari residences. Bulgari residences, prices there are between 10,000 to 15,000 dirhams per square foot. And after that, in the billionaire row, see at the end, there is a Peninsula. H&H is building a project there, and their starting price for selling is 10,000 dirhams per square foot. But in all these three projects, starting from Maritime City, Mina, Rashid, and Dubai Island, to get a sea-facing unit, you're going to be paying anywhere between 3,400 to 4,500 dirhams per square foot, which is a great gap. Now, will this gap close? Not in all cases. Do not be fooled by that. You need to find developers which are at the same pedigree of Miras and H&H, so that you can say once this project is built, it's going to close the gap. Not doesn't mean that if H&H is selling at 10,000 dirhams per square foot, any project here will reach 10,000 dirhams per square foot. No. We got to be very careful in the projects that we are selecting. And that's why I selected Bulgari Residences. This is an ultra luxury project. Okay? Now, if we talk about, now this is regarding the scarcity factor and the prices in this area. Now let's go to the infrastructure, which is the most important part. What infrastructure the government is trying to build? Now, first of all, before we talk about the government projects, let's understand the government goal. See, Dubai have a clear vision, D33 and 2040 Urban Master Plan. Now, in the 2040 Urban Master Plan, Dubai is planning to increase the public beaches by 400%, and they want 60% of Dubai area to be greenery and open spaces. And this is shocking to a lot of investors. How they cannot understand how Dubai will be 60% greenery and open spaces. But from the projects and what they're doing, you're going to understand that. Now, if we start with the infrastructure, the number one thing we're going to talk about is the biggest investment by RTA, Ashandaga Corridor project. Now, Ashandaga Corridor project is a project that consists of 4 phases. Already 3 phases are completed. And it cost, so far until now, around 5.3 billion dirhams. Now, it is a 13-kilometer corridor connecting Sheikh Rashid Road to Al Mina Road to Al Kharij Road to Cairo Road, passing by and upgrading 15 key intersections. Now, this project is going to improve the mobility of 1 million residences and is going to increase the capacity from 6,400 vehicles to 24,000 vehicles per hour. And it will cut the traffic time from 106 minutes to only 14 minutes. And this corridor is feeding directly into these 3 major communities. Because improving the mobility is a great infrastructure. And since phase 4 is not completed, it is a good time to invest. Because once phase 4 is completed, it's going to add to the appreciation. Now, the next project, that is a huge one. Dubai is building the world's largest marine restoration project called Dubai Reef. Now, Dubai Reef, see, I'm not a marine biologist, I'm an engineer. All right? But I'll try to explain it to you. And if there is any marine biologist, and if I said anything wrong, help me correct it. And let's reach out. Like I'm very interested in the ocean life. You know, it's a very interesting knowledge that I haven't been exposed to, but let's study it together. So, in Dubai Reef, they are going to build a 600 square kilometer along the coastal line of Dubai, which is floating marine sanctuary labs. They want to improve, they want to give back to the ocean. You can say something like that, okay? Now, these floating labs is going to, first of all, generate 30,000 jobs. This is the most interesting thing for us, by the way, as in real estate. And is going to generate 1 billion corals. At the same time, in this project, they are going to use the wave and the current to generate clean energy and feed it into Dubai's main power grid, which will help reduce the carbon emission and help Dubai become more sustainable. Now, at the same time, they are going to use AI and 3D printing to mimic the coral natural landscape, and everything that they're going to be using, it's going to be friendly for the marine environment, because they want to create a clean environment. You know, I don't know how they're going to do that. I'm not a civil engineer. Basically, I'm a telecom and a computer engineer. But people can talk to me about that, how they're going to use, you know, the materials to build this this natural landscape, to mimic it and to help to improve the marine life. So this is not just an artificial leaf. You know, it's a project that is going to help improve the marine life, improve ecotourism, hospitality, retail, residential, and of course sustainability. And at the same time, along the coastal line, they're going to plant 100 million mangrove trees. Now, this is a bit shocking. Why 100 million mangrove trees? First of all, about the greenery, which we talked about. Plus the mangrove trees, they act as natural air conditioning, which when you have it at this big amount, 100 million trees, they're gonna help reduce the temperature and generate more oxygen and a cleaner air. So all the people who will be living in the coastal line, including these 3 projects, they will literally breathe cleaner, fresher, cooler air. So this is about the Dubai Reef, and as I told you, if there is any marine biologist, let them reach out. I'm really studying this project in depth, and I want to learn more about it. Now, coming to the last infrastructure project, which is the metro. Now, we all know that metro connectivity increased the prices by around 25% because it's crucial. So you have 2 lines passing by this area, which is the green line and the gold line. Now, the green line is passing by 3 stations. 2 will be next to Mina, Rashid, and 1 next to Dubai Island. And the green line will have 1 station right in front of Maritime City. So this is here from a macro level, all the projects and the things that the government is trying to achieve. Now let's dig in to the micro level. Select 3 projects from big developers, ones that are having a very good history track records, and we're going to study that together, right? And we're going to there apply our framework and understand it. So now what we did, we studied the scarcity factor and what infrastructure is coming there, and all of this is not yet connected. Once we start going into the projects, now we're going to understand the infrastructure coming in these projects. We're going to study the developer. And at the same time, I think we're not going to talk much about the scarcity factor. If there is anything unique about the project, we're going to discuss. All right? So let's go to the last part. So number 1, we're going to start in the Maritime City. And in the Maritime City, our pick will be the Jumeira Peninsula. Jumeira Peninsula is an 11 million square foot master development by Omniyat. Let's apply our framework, which is scarcity, infrastructure, and the developer. We'll start with the developer. Now, people who are in the ultra luxury segment, they all know what Omniyat is. Omniyat is the number 1 developer in the ultra luxury segment in Dubai market. Now, if we take few developments by Omniyat, Omniyat is the one behind the Opus by Zara Hadid. It is the one behind the one at the Palm, which is a Dorchester collection. It is the one behind Lana, which is also another Dorchester collection. There are so many mind-blowing projects by Omniyat. You also got the Binary. See, Omniyat is a developer which comes with a project every now and then, but when they come with this project, they shake the real estate market in the whole world, not only in Dubai. And the exciting thing about the Jumeira Peninsula, this is the first master development by this ultra luxury developer. Now, there is a sister company which is under Omniyat called Beyond. So Beyond is specialized in the luxury segment, and Omniyat is in the ultra luxury segment. Now, this is the 11 million square foot. I think now we have covered some information. Omniyat, like there are some developers, they speak for themselves. You cannot say much about Omniyat. Everyone knows what Omniyat, especially if you are in the ultra luxury, but you can make your research and come into this. Let's jump to the infrastructure. It is an 11 million square foot. What you are seeing here, that's an 8 million square foot, which is the luxury segment developed by Beyond, which is under Omniyat. And then there is a 3 million square foot, which is going to be developed by Omniyat themselves as ultra luxury. Now, why they are starting with the luxury? Because they want first to finish all the launches in the luxury segment, and then they're gonna come and launch the ultra luxury segment, because the ultra luxury segment will help, of course, in the appreciation of the luxury segment. So if we look here as an infrastructure, the Jumeira Peninsula is divided into two parts. You got the bay and the gardens. The bay, which is this area, all right, there are around 30,000 trees which will be planted in this community. That's when we are talking about the greenery. You can understand this from here. You got a wave pool. You have swimmable beaches. You have lagoons, restaurants, and you have a 1.2 kilometer of retail space. Now, the nice thing about that is that all of this is exclusive only for the residences. So, for example, if you go to Blue Waters, the infrastructure there is shared with the residences and with the tourists. But the only people who can access whatever you see here and whatever you are seeing in the pictures, this is exclusive for the residents. And exclusivity adds value. And as an ultra luxury developer, they understand that. Now, also in the Maritime City, there is a hospital coming. There are schools coming. All of this adds to the infrastructure. Now, when it comes to the garden area, as you can see, like, this is not actually a garden, that's a forest. When you're talking about 30,000 trees, this is the area. And then after that, in this area, the development of the ultra luxury side by Omniyat is gonna come in this area. Now, of course, Omniyat did not announce anything yet. We don't know. But based on my understanding on Omniyat, most probably, okay, and it's good to say this now, so once this launch, I can know how much I understand Omniyat. Most probably they're gonna come with a Dorchester collection. See if this happened, all right? Understand that in whole Dubai market, when it comes to hospitality, there are two brands which are ranked in the top 10 hospitality brands in the world. These two brands are Atlantis at the Palm and the Dorchester collection. So if you have a community having a Dorchester collection, if this happened, it's gonna boom the prices. So what Omniyat is trying to do, it is trying to help people here appreciate. So now the prices, as I told you, they are anyway between 3,400 to 4,500 dirhams per square foot. All the launches which were completed were this for one. You can see here, like, there are these buildings. These are not yet launched. They are not yet revealed. But this is 1, 2, 3. And then the last launch was this one, the Moral. Right? There was the last launch. All of these are sold out. Now see, we are understanding the framework, but understand that there are so many professional investors in the Dubai market. That is why good projects sell out fast. So Beyond is going to launch. We're not sure which one of these they're going to launch first, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 launches. In any launch, if you really want to secure a unit here, you need to come early. Like, you need to book people, reserve their unit before the launch, so that when there is the launch, they can guarantee a unit. Because now the Moral, it was sold in 24 hours. And I'm talking about the good units. So you don't want, as we explained earlier in the golf course, not only in the golf course, in the seafront. Like, if we go to Emaar beachfront, let me give you an example. A 2-bedroom, which is community view, back facing, around 1,300 square foot. It was bought around 2.85 million dirhams. And it was sold in February 2025 around 4.4 million. Okay, which is a good appreciation in 2 to 3 years. But then if you get a 2-bedroom which was sea facing, the building name is Beach Isle. Now in Beach Isle, a 2-bedroom which is sea facing, around 1,100 square foot, so the size is smaller. But the price was around 3.25 to 3.3 million dirhams. This was a 2-bedroom. Now, this 2-bedroom it was sold in September 2024. Guess what's the price? 6.4 million. So just because it was sea facing, it doubled the appreciation, despite the size of the 2-bedroom apartment was smaller. So the good apartments are the ones which are in a high floor and they are sea facing. Now the good thing about this project is that you got sea facing in both. Like if you get a high floor, you can get a sunrise view and you can get a sunset view. And if you realize the placement, they don't want any building to abstract the view. So that's a good thing. But always the best is to get the seafront facing, because you don't know what's gonna come in the back. Maybe they're gonna maybe because this outside the master plan, maybe they're gonna come a building which is going to cover the sea. It is better always to come. Now, if you want a high floor which is sunrise facing this side, you gotta come early. But this is where you're gonna get most of the appreciation. So now we talked about the developer. We talked about the infrastructure, and the scarce factor is the exclusivity, the high ultra luxury, the 30,000 mangrove trees, and of course, it is sea facing with swimmable beaches, right? Now, this is about this community. Coming to the prices. Now, in the prices, beyond in every launch, they are increasing the price around 5 to 10%. All right. So this is an organic appreciation. So they launched 4 buildings. We're going to talk about the price of the latest launch so that you can understand and prepare yourself if you want to join this community or if you want to invest here. Now, a 1-bedroom, which is 825 square foot, the starting price in the Murar was around 2.3 million. A 2-bedroom with an average size of 1,330 square foot, and it was bought at 4.4 million dirhams. A 3-bedroom with an average size of 1,850 square foot. It was sold as a starting price of 6.4 million. And then you get the 3-bedroom, which is a signature collection. Now the signature collection started around 11 million. And then you have also 3-bedroom maisonette. Now the maisonette is around 2 floors, okay? Which you can say a duplex, but we call it here a maisonette, which the average size was around 2,970 square foot, and the starting price was 15 million. And then you got the paint house. So in the Mural, there were 2 paint houses, and the price was 35 million. So now we're done with the first project. Time to go to the next project, and we're gonna go in the next area, and that area is easy, which is Mina Rashid, because it's all a full master development by Emaar. So let's go and study that. Go to the third community, and that will be it for this video. So let's get rolling. So the second project which we're gonna study together is Rashid Yachts and Marina by Emaar. And if we apply our framework, which is the scarcity, infrastructure, and the developer. Let's start with the developer. I believe everyone knows Emaar. See, Emaar, I always say to my investors, this is the safest investment you can take. Why? Because Emaar is the best developer when it comes to the infrastructure. It is the #1 developer worldwide, and it is the second biggest construction company after China Construction. Now, no developer has a track record like Emaar. Like you're talking from 1997. You're talking about communities like downtown, Dubai Marina. We are talking about the 2 epicenters of Dubai. You're talking about Emirate Hills, Dubai Hills, Arabian Rashes, Dubai Creek Harbor. All these projects, they were built by Emaar alone, master development. Now Emaar, it is not only the safest investment for investors, even for the developers. Like the developers first, they wait for Emaar to announce something, and then they go there. So the developers waited for Emaar first to announce downtown and Dubai Marina, which any developer who is selling anything, one of the main selling points is how far it is from downtown, how far it is from Dubai Marina, how far it is from Dubai Hills Mall, and so on. So once Emaar announced downtown on Dubai Marina, all developers started working around Sheikh Zayed Road. Coming to Al Qudra area, which is a very good area, developers first waited for Emaar to announce Arabian Ranches. Once Emaar announced the Arabian Ranches, all the developers went there. Emaar South or Dubai South. Now, Dubai South, government announced big developments there. All the developers said, okay, did Emaar go there? Is there any community announced by Emaar there? Not yet. No one invested. Once Emaar announced Emaar South, all developers went there. Same thing happened in Dubai Al Ain Road. All developers waited for Emaar to announce the valley. Now developers, they are coming and they are launching all their projects around this area. So not only for the investors, even the developers, Emaar is now setting the benchmark in the market. So when you invest with a developer like that, you cannot go wrong. All right? So after we have spoken about the developer, let's go to the second part, which is the scarcity factor. So what is scarce about this project? Now, number one, it is holding the name of the founding father of Dubai, Sheikh Rashid. That is why this project, it is so important for the royal family. Now, to understand something, Mina Rashid, this is where the story of Dubai began. In 1972, Sheikh Rashid, may peace be upon his soul, opened Port Rashid. And this is when they started trading. Before that, Dubai was just a 20,000 resident city, living around the creek area, fishing and so on. But then Sheikh Rashid announced Mina Rashid. They started trading, and this is when Dubai exploded and they started building old Dubai and then new Dubai and so on. So there is a historical significance to this area. Even next to Mina Rashid, you will find the house of the founding father, okay, in Ashandaka historical district. I recommend anyone to reach this area if you actually want to understand how Dubai developed in the past 50 years. So this community is a great mixture between history and maritime heritage and the luxury built by Emaar. So for people who value these two, they value culture and they value luxury at the same time, this is an unbeatable choice. This is the best project for you. All right? Now, adding to that, you have also Al Fahidi Historical District. You have Queen Elizabeth II ship. I can think that you can see the ship from here. Now, that ship, it was the ship of Queen Elizabeth when she visited Dubai in 2008. She gifted this ship to the Dubai government, okay? And they changed it into a hotel. You can visit it. It's an amazing area where if you want to see the Titanic vibe, you can see this ship there, all right? So all of these, it adds to the scarce factor, the name, the culture, and the history. Now, coming to the infrastructure, which is the last part. Now, infrastructure, this is a specialty of Emaar. This is what they know how to do best, and they are the best in the world when it comes to that. And that is why all investors there, when they invest in Emaar, they never change, because they always make a lot of money because they focus on infrastructure. So, this is around a 7 million square feet development, seafront, and in this 7 million square feet, you have, first of all, 100 meter, which is having a 430 yacht berth. I think you can see the yachts from here, but it's gonna be way amazing, of course, once this development is built. So you can have super yacht here, and for HNIs and ultra HNIs, this is very important to have a yacht berth there. You are going to have a school in this area. They're going to be retail, okay, and restaurants, and it is the same sister company under Emaar which built Dubai Mall. So just imagine having a Dubai Mall on the sea. This is what you're gonna get here. All right, they have an art gallery, a maritime museum, okay, so many cultural and historical districts. They're going to have floating restaurants, floating hotels, and there's also going to be the flagship hotel, which we don't know yet. Emaar did not announce anything, but it's either going to be a villa, of course, an address, or a palace. We'll wait for the official announcement by Emaar, okay? And then the exciting part about it, about Mina Rashid, is until now, no one moved here. So until now they are building, you can see the construction going on. Their first handover, people, they're going to start moving here at September 2025, which is the first launch, which is Seagate, these 3 buildings. If you can see them from here, they're almost ready. I think they're ready. You know, Emaar they always deliver on time, sometimes earlier. So once these 3 buildings are handed over and people start moving to this community and the community comes alive, this is when the prices are going to shoot. So Mina Rashid or Rashid Yachts and Marina is close to explosion. It's still too early and it's still a good time to invest. All right. Now, coming to the prices. In the latest launch in Rashid Yachts and Marina, a 1-bedroom with an average size of 800 square foot and the starting price was 2.1 million. A 2-bedroom with an average size of 1,170 square foot and the price was starting at 3.1 million. And a 3-bedroom with an average size of 1,720 square foot and the starting price was 4.3 million. And a 3-bed townhouse, which this is super scarce, a townhouse on the water. All right, so if you could get that, that's going to be a crazy appreciation. With an average size of 2,250 square foot and the starting price was 9 million. Now, there is something also very important, which is the payment plan. We forgot to talk about that in Omniyat, and I'm sure people, they're going to ask about that. Now, in Emaar, the payment plan is 80-20, right? Meaning 80% of the price will be paid during construction, and it's usually around 3 to 4 years, and 20% on handover. And when it comes to beyond, the payment plan is usually 50-50, meaning that you will be paying only 50% during construction, and on handover, it is 50%. So you can see what works best with you. By the way, each payment plan has its own strengths and weaknesses, and we can discuss that. So we can keep this to a separate video. Let's now go to the third and the last community. The third and the last project is Bay Grove by Nakheel. So now we're going to shift to the last area, which is Dubai Island. There are so many amazing projects there, but I kept Nakheel to the end because Nakheel is the king and the queen of the sea. And you can understand why I compared the prices to Solaya, Emaar, or to Bulgari Residences, or to the Peninsula by H&H. Because these are developers at the same pedigree. All right, so that you can know when these projects are complete and they handed over, these are the prices that you can expect to reach. Now, Nakheel, this is the developer behind Palm Jumeira, which is called the 8th wonder of the world. It is the developer behind Jumeira Islands. It is the developer behind Jumeira Park. Like when they build something in the sea, they usually build an icon. They don't just build like a project or a community. Even now, Palm Jabal Ali is going to be the biggest man-made island in the world. It is developed also by Nakheel. So there is no much to talk about. Nakheel is a developer that speaks by itself, especially when you go something which is seafront, you cannot go wrong with it. Now, when it comes to Dubai Island is a 17 square kilometer island divided into 5 islands, island A, B, C, D, and E. Now, there is something super scarce there, which it is very difficult to find around the world. Island C and island D, there are international golf championship coming there. So you got an 18-hole golf championship coming in island C and a 9-hole golf championship coming in island D. So yes, we agreed on that golf courses by itself is scarce and waterfront is scarce. So when you combine something which is waterfront and a golf course in there, this is super scarce. Like, I think there are only 3 golf courses around the world which are waterfront. You can correct me on that. They are all in the US. So this is a super scarce factor which is going to be there. Another scarce factor which will be there is Island E. Island E is going to be a low-dense, ultra-luxury villas and mansions. If you can get there, nothing is announced yet. I'm trying to open your mind to what we are expecting in the future. What we're going to talk about now is Bay Grove in Island B. All right. There are so many good projects in Island A, but if I have to pick one, I'm going to pick the master development by Nakheel. Now, if you come to the infrastructure, adding to the golf courses, there is 21 kilometers of beaches. All right. Clean water, beaches all around the islands. You got a 450, almost 450K mall, like if you, square feet, of course. Now, if you, for example, if you see Dubai Mall is 1.2 million square feet. So if you are talking about 450K, it's almost third size of Dubai Mall, which is also going to be really amazing. There are 9 marinas coming there. And with 9 marinas, we are talking around 1,300 yacht berths. So wherever you are living, if you have a yacht, it's in all around the islands, right? So what else? There is a theme park, you know. There are 87 hotels and resorts. So you are talking about 20,000 hotel apartments or hotel rooms, 20,000 hotel rooms coming in this area. If you just look at the master plan, you will understand when I'm talking about 60% greenery. Just look at that, right? So this is the infrastructure, and this is the scarce factor, all right? And we have also spoken about the developer. We tried to brush fast around it. Of course, we can make a video discussing all these communities in depth, but the idea of this video is not to explain the project. It is more to explain the framework and to help you think better and make better decisions. Now, coming to the prices, what we are going to talk about is Bay Grove in Island B. Now, Bay Grove, they had few launches, and there are 1 or 2 launches maximum coming. And at the same time, I just want to again talk about this. These 3 developers, these are the giant developers in the market. Omniyat and Emaar and Nakheel. These are the developers who sell out very fast because they always deliver top quality projects. So again, in Emaar, like people reached a point that one investor buy a full building. So if you are interested, whether it's in Jumeira Peninsula or Rashid Yachts and Marina or Bay Grove, again, I'm going to say it because I know this happens in all the launches, reserve early. So that when the launch comes, you take at the same time. If the launch past 24 hours, the project will be sold out, or at least the good units will be sold out. Now, coming to the prices. A 1-bedroom in the latest launch in Bay Grove the starting price was 2 million. A 2-bedroom, the starting price was around 2.8 million. A 3-bedroom, the starting price was at 4.5 million. And a 4-bedroom, the starting price was 8.3 million. But again, the starting price will usually be a back view unit. Make sure that you always get a sea-facing unit so that you can have the best appreciation in your investment. So we have covered a lot of ground in this video. So let's just bring everything together. The one thing I want you to keep in mind is this framework. Developer, scarcity, infrastructure, right? With this framework, you're going to protect your investment. With this framework, you will understand how to catch good projects early on when the prices are low and they're cheap. And this framework is so important, as I said, is going to be the slogan of this channel. Any video that we are going to post from this point onwards, any project, we're going to analyze it based on these 3, because I want this to sink deep in so that you can make good investments that will help you make a lot of money, a lot of appreciation, a lot of ROI, and help you win in the long term. Understand that real estate is a long-term game. So don't be fooled by these promises of 2 months, 3 months, 4 months appreciation. Real estate is a long-term investment. So understand these 3, keep them in mind. And if you have any question about this, leave them down in the comments. I will read every single comment and I will answer the question myself. And if you want to reach out privately, you can message me. I think my number will be somewhere here on the screen. This is my WhatsApp number. You can message me and we can talk about it. And if you want to have a deeper call, which is a consultation, which is, by the way, is free, There is a link below in the description. Just click in this link. It will take you to my personal calendar. Book the time there, and we can have like a Zoom call of 45 to 50 minutes, and we can discuss all your goals and details. All right, guys. So that's it for this video. I hope it was valuable, and I hope you can use this information to make a better decision. All right. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.